When Google launched the Pixel 10 lineup, the 10 Pro and the 10 Pro XL featured for the first time a zoom up to 100x, which Google is calling the ProRes zoom. So in this video, I'm going to show you some examples of Pixel 10 Pro 100x photos, non-processed, then processed with the so-called ProRes zoom, and then of course at the end also comparison with the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra space zoom that also reaches to 100x. So you're going to see some samples like this. On the left here we do have the Pixel, on the right we do have the S25 Ultra, and sometimes guys that's really impressive, but I have to set the scene here and we need to understand what the heck is the ProRes zoom, because as you're gonna see later, Google themselves explained that this is a generative AI powered digital zoom for Pixel phone. So the moment you reach 30x and beyond, your phone is going to try to take multiple pictures and it's going to try to fill in the missing details using generative AI, which means again capturing multiple images, upscaling them, and then also using artificial intelligence to try to reconstruct what might have been on that picture. On the presentation delivered by Google, they highlighted that's best suited for landscape and nature, and sometimes the result might be a bit weird, and we're gonna see actually what happens in real life. So we know first those are multiple images, then we know it's AI powered upscaling, and then we also know it's using generative or Gen AI to generate the details. So at the end guys, we are getting a picture, but is that a photo? There's a whole lot of questions. So in this video, I'm gonna try to show you some 100x unprocessed photos from Pixel 10 Pro itself. Then what happens when we apply the ProRes zoom, and then of course at the end a comparison with one of the best out there, which is the Samsung S25 Ultra. And I know the best phones are still the Chinese ones that can go up to 120x, also powered by the best lenses and the best sensors, but this video is about the Pixel and about the Samsung. So without any further ado, let me directly go and show you. This is going to be an unprocessed photo guys. So this is Pixel 10 Pro XL 100x, and as you can see, it's almost not very clear what is there. The moment we apply the ProRes zoom, it's going to really work like a magic. So we can see the outlines of a building, we can see some trees, and even try to see the first signs of the autumn. So we have some orange color here, some yellow color here. Again, it's not perfect, but think of it, this is not a real photo, right? It's upscaled and also it's digitally refined, and it's also filled in with a lot of things that are probably not there. Let me show you more examples. This thing here is used to get electricity out of the lighting. So on this photo that is not processed, we can already see the shape and probably guess that it's metal and see some signs of what might be rust, and also how the sun is illuminating. But what happens when we apply the ProRes zoom? Yeah, it's like it works like a magic, guys. We can clearly see the signs of rust. We can very clearly see where exactly the sun is hitting this object, and we can try to not only see the shape but also get the material that is probably made out of metal. Okay, interesting what happens with things like signs and things like tests, because generative AI is very strong on text understanding, text recognition. So you might think that it's going to be good in filling in the gaps, and this might be tricky. So this is the 100x sample. Because I know what's written there, I can probably guess it easily, and this is the plain version. Now what happens when you apply ProRes zoom? Yeah, like a magic, guys. It really tries to reconstruct and put things that are there, but because I know what is written there, I can already see the first signs of AI hallucination. For example, there are some letters that are clearly not the letters written there. For some of the others, I think the guess or the level of recognition from AI was better. So the Gen AI that was applied there is also better, but we can already see what is happening on the background. And I'm not saying it's bad. It's actually very good. This is again a 100x unprocessed picture, right? And I can read what is written there. This thing is just astonishing, guys. When you apply the ProRes zoom, it's going to clear all the details. And again, Gen AI is very strong, and text recognition in general, like LLM models, are very good at recognizing text. So just refining it, you know, I think it's just outstanding. It was able to recognize that we have a glass with white wine, another glass with probably red wine, and it was giving this picture that I believe is just astonishing. This is a bird box, and as you can see, it's not so clear what exact details do we have there, but the moment we apply the ProRes zoom, I guess the shapes are better, all the lines are better, the color separation is also better. But do we know if this was the real one? We don't. But nonetheless, the results look Very, very good. Okay, now it's gonna get even better from here, guys. This is a sign shot with 100x, and as you can see, I can't make any sense of the text nor the map. But when I try to apply the ProRes zoom, the map is refined, okay, because those objects there are fixed and they're not so complex. But the text in the bottom, this is pure hallucination. It really is not there. Okay, but there are some scenarios where things can get even better. So this is a building, right? And with 100x, I can probably already guess the materials. That's probably brick and this is probably glass. With the ProRes zoom, guys, the results are really outstanding. Now see what happens when I apply ProRes zoom. The results are really incredible. To some extent, because here I'm not even sure if there is a gap between the windows and I can see, you know, the bricks behind the window, or the AI decided to draw bricks around and just try to fill in the gaps. And you can also see the 100x photo is not so processed, has straight lines, and with the ProRes zoom those lines start to be a bit curvy because the AI was trying to discover, okay, what is this thing here, how can I make it better? And you can see sometimes, you know, the results really aren't that great, but this one here is just really impressive. And I can show you some more examples. 100x, we have a bench and recycle bin. This is unprocessed. Boom! When you apply ProRes, you can clearly see that this is a sitting bench. You can also clearly see the recycle bin. Now, do we have the same lines? I don't know. I don't really think so, because I can see here, you know, we have this line and that line and that line. On the end result, though, yeah, we have this, which again might not be the real thing there, but it doesn't look so bad. It's interesting what happens when you try to use this on people, because Google promised that they're gonna try to make it look not so weird on people. And this is the 100x photo. Let me show you, this is good. So 100x photo, okay, no ProRes zoom, boom, ProRes zoom applied. So what do we see here, guys? The bicycle, right? Because again, AI is good at recognizing things. It knows we have a bicycle there. It was able to render the bicycle. It didn't really try to refine anything on the human beings. So we have here a very good example where we have Gen AI applied here and here, and somehow the people are still the same. And I actually did it again. So these two gentlemen again for the test. So this is the non-processed photo. This is the processed photo, and we can see that it's not really trying to refine the humans so much, but everything else. And I have a very good example, guys. This thing here as a memorial, all right? So this is the 100x version. You probably don't know what it is. But wait, before I show you the ProRes zoom, I want to show you, I went there and this is a 5x, right? Like this is a real optical photo and this is the real thing, okay? And now I'm gonna show you again the 100x unprocessed photo and the processed photo. And this is so funny, guys, because, you know, on the first glance, it's astonishing that the AI knows that there is a leaf or like a tree, you know, in front of the face. So it's trying to model a face, but this is, yeah, not the real face of the memorial, right? So again, it's Gen AI. It's not that it's hallucinating. It's trying to do its best to recover things, but because the information is so limited, yeah, we might end up thinking, yeah, you know, this is AI probably had something to drink and went really wild, because again, the original is this. But I just wanted to show this as a good example. Okay, another unprocessed photo. You probably are not able to recognize what do we have here, but the moment I show you the ProRes zoom photo, you're gonna know, oh, those are doves. So it is good to some extent. It really depends on what scenario you use it. So for example, this one here, this is a place I've been so many times there, and this is actually a radio TV tower, which you probably would know if you've been there, but if you've never been there, how would you know? But if I show you the ProRes zoom photo, well, you know. Okay, it's better. We can see the antennas, we can see the structure. We can also try to see the nature around it, like all the rocks and etc. And even for things like this, I don't know what this is. It is so far away. When I take and apply the ProRes zoom, it looks like a tower, but is it really there? I don't know, okay? Now, something that is very clear. I mean, yeah, this is a BMW E39. And the BMW E39 headlights have angel eyes. This is actually from the facelift, and we know they have a circular shape. And when we go and see the processed photo, we can see that the AI is bending, you know, some of the forms to just give us the result. Well, okay, I mean, I wanted you to see like Pixel 10 Pro unprocessed and processed, and now, as I promised, I'm gonna share with you a comparison. So we have here on the right the S25 Ultra, Using the 5x camera, how do we know? You can see the aperture is 3.4, and we do have here on the left 5x camera from the Pixel. And honestly, this one is really, really good. If I have to pick one, I'll probably go with a Pixel. Although again, if we look just at the details, we can see that the Pixel is hallucinating with the ProRes zoom. It's applying more brick than it is because probably there is a small gap between the windows, right? So it's not ideal, but I'll say it really works. Now let me share with you, take an example. 100x space zoom from S25 Ultra, not that bad, but the one with the ProRes is just bit better. And maybe some folks are gonna call this fake or generated with AI, which it is, right? Both of us. But you can see, right, all the shapes from the ball here and also the rust applied and the way the direction the sun is hitting the object. And you can also guess that this is a metal object, which is not that bad. Okay, this is now the sign, remember? So Space Zoom 100x by Galaxy is giving me actually what is written there. I can totally understand what is written there, and the ProRes zoom is already trying to guess some of the Cyrillic letters and is trying to replace them with letters that are not there. Like for example, that's an I, Cyrillic I, and here I get like a Cyrillic M, okay? But it's very good at numbers and it's usually very good with text. This one is very impressive, by the way. 100x S25 Ultra, and here on the left I think the result is just really better. Probably some of the details were never there to begin with, but the end result I think is good enough. And at the end it's going to be really a choice of how much real things you want. If you want really the best real zoom, you're probably gonna get, you know, one of them Chinese phones. If you wanna get something that's quite usable, of course you can get the S25 Ultra. And why not get the Pixel, right? I mean, you still get probably good 100x photos or good zoom photos, but they will be sometimes heavily altered. Okay, this is now the bird box. We can check again. This looks really weird. And the biggest question is how much of this on the left from the Pixel is there or was there in the beginning to begin with, all right? But you can see for yourself. Okay, let me show the sign. I think signs and letters and text, the Pixel is doing a great work, but again, it's totally hallucinating the text. But I do believe that I'm really able to just get a bit of understanding what happens here on the map. Okay, and now I'll show you the bench because this was an interesting photo. Okay, the original recycle bin has 1, 2, 3, like 5 lines. What the ProRes zoom did, it hallucinated or generated more lines. You can see them like how narrow they are. And it tried to even generate a new graffiti that was probably never there to begin with. But it did a very good work at the bench, because the bench is a simpler object, right? And it did a good work, I guess, on the grass, but am I sure if that grass was there? Probably not, because this is really what's there. But since it doesn't look great, we can't really tell. And now some human, right? You can see the Space Zoom 100x by S25 Ultra is just consistent. It gives you the same level of zoom almost everywhere. The person, I can potentially read what's written there. Also, the same level of zoom applied everywhere, uniform on the picture. And Google's AI, ProRes Zoom, applied some Gen AI on the bike, which is actually, it made the bike look very crisp and didn't really do much on the human. And the result is bad. I have another example, the same two gentlemen. You can see this on the right isn't perfect. But can I recognize the Bulgarian flag? Yeah, I can. It's, you know, white, it's green, and it's also red. Okay, the colors are not so good, but because I know what's there, or at least I pretty much know what I can expect to see there, I know this is a flag. Here you can see on the Google's photo, the bike is very good, everything else, not so much. Okay, and now the favorite example, guys. Remember I showed you this memorial. 100x space zoom wasn't really the best here, but it was able to capture the fact that this guy has a pink eye, which is a real detail. Remember, I show you the real photo, and Google Pixel replaced the face with something that was actually never there. So you see, I mean, the trade-offs are interesting. You're going to get a good result, but how real is this result gonna be? Okay, and last but not least, let me share another example. Those are the doves. I think here the Gen AI was really very good because those things are fixed, they're not moving. And I guess Gen AI is good in recognizing shapes and objects and materials. So in this case, I'll probably just pick this because it looks almost to be real. But guys, I'm very curious, what do you think about that? And if you want to share your comments, please do this in the video below. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. And if you want to see me unboxing the Pixel 10 Pro, yeah, just go and watch the previous video. Thank you so much. VST over and bye.